Some people say love begins with fireworks, with heartbeats racing and wild butterflies. But for Kobe Harrison, love began with rain. Soft, pouring rain on an April afternoon. It was drizzling outside Maple and Ink, the famous little bookstore cafe on Linden Street. The windows were fogged, the lights warm, the smell of coffee and old pages blending like a memory. Kobe sat in his usual spot at the corner wooden table. His sleeves were rolled to the elbows, revealing calm hands that held a sketch pencil like. It was part of him. In front of him lay an open sketchbook filled with lines, plans, and ideas. Bridges, buildings, dreams made of structure. He believed in things that could be measured. He believed in plans. He believed in logic. He did not believe in fate. Until that day. The bell above the glass door jingled softly as a woman walked in, drenched in rain, holding a light blue umbrella. Emily Carter. Her hair fell in damp curls round her cheeks. Her jacket sleeves were wet, but instead of shivering or cursing the weather, she laughed softly, as if the rain had told her a secret. She looked around the bookstore like it was a magical place she had been missing all her life. Then she saw him. He didn't mean to stare, but he did, for a moment too long. She looked back. She didn't look away either. Something passed between them. Not love, not attraction. Something quieter. Something like recognition. She moved to the poetry section. She gently ran her fingers over the spines of books like they were old friends. She pulled out a worn little book titled When Hearts Listen, smiled, and flipped through it. One book slipped from her arms and fell. Kobe was already standing. He picked it up and walked toward her. She looked up. He held out the book. She smiled. Not a big, flashy smile. Just soft, warm, the kind of smile that feels like a warm blanket on cold days. "Thank you," she said. "You're welcome," he replied, his voice calmer than he felt. She paused. He didn't walk away. "Are you an artist?" she asked, noticing his sketchbook. "Architect," he said. "Interesting." She smiled. "You build dreams people can stand in." He blinked. No one had ever described his work like that. He said, quietly. "And you?" "I teach art to kids. I help them draw the dreams they can't explain." He didn't know it yet, but that was the moment his life began to change. They sat in the bookstore cafe. Two strangers with coffee cups, talking like they had known each other for years. She loved chaotic colors and messy paints. He loved clean sketches and precise lines. She believed beauty was found in imperfections. He believed beauty was found in balance. She loved the rain for the surprises it brought. He loved it for the silence it offered. Somehow, they were complete opposites, and yet, every word felt like a piece falling into place. They didn't exchange numbers that day, but they kept meeting there. Not because they planned it, but because some things don't need planning. Weeks turned into months. Their meetings became intentional. Coffee became a ritual. Walks by the lake, painting sessions, sketching, dreams, watching sunsets. Sometimes they talked about books, childhoods, fears, life goals. Sometimes they didn't talk at all. Sometimes silence said everything. Emily once painted a house by the lake with soft yellow light glowing from its windows. Kobe looked at it and whispered, "That looks like home." She looked at him, and for the first time, she blushed. One December evening, they sat by the riverside, feet dipped in cold water. Emily threw a pebble and asked, "Do you believe people are made for each other?" Kobe was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "I don't know about destiny, but some people are like doors. They lead you to the right places." She stared at him. He looked at her, and nothing was the same after that. 2 years later, it was raining. Same bookstore, same aisle, same warm lights. But this time, he stood under the fairy lights hung between bookshelves. In his hand, not a ring, but a sketch. Emily walked in, confused. Then still. It was her, holding an umbrella. standing in the rain dot above the sketch. He had written, "I didn't believe in fate until the rain brought you." Her hand shook. Tears filled her eyes. He looked at her and said, softly, "I don't want perfect. I want real. I want you. Will you build a life with me?" She didn't say yes. She just hugged him. And that said everything. The wedding was set for spring. Cherry blossoms, soft violins, fairy lights, gold and cream theme, a lakeside estate. Surrounded by roses. It was beautiful. Too beautiful. Sometimes beauty hides. Cracks. Kobe started getting strange messages. Emily noticed. He said it was work pressure. She believed him. Until rehearsal day. She walked in just as the rehearsal started. Elegant, tall, confident. Wearing red. Helena Maris. She didn't smile. She didn't greet. She only looked straight at Kobe. And he froze. Emily saw it. For the first time, she saw fear in his eyes. Helena walked closer. She leaned in and whispered to Kobe, "You can't hide forever." She turned. She walked out, leaving behind questions. And the beginning of doubt. That night, Emily stood by the window. "She knows something," she whispered. "Yes," Kobe said. "Does it matter?" "Yes." "Does it have anything to do with us?" "Silence." Kobe finally said. "It could destroy everything." "Then tell me," she said gently. He didn't speak. Not because he didn't want to, but because truth wasn't simple anymore. Wedding. Morning. Sunlight. Flowers. Music. Laughter. Everything perfect. Emily walked down the aisle. Kobe looked at her like she was the only light in the world. And then a voice sliced through the air. "Stop the wedding." Helena. Wearing red. Again. She stood in front of everyone. Calm. Cold. Smiling. "Kobe is hiding a truth," she said. "One that concerns the bride." And her father. Double quotes. Gasps. Silence. Emily single quotes as heartbeat broke. Helena continued. "Kobe was responsible for your father losing his job." Emily stood still. Faces turned. Her father dropped his gaze. Tears fell. And just like that, perfect shattered. Emily didn't scream. She didn't run. She simply turned toward Kobe. And asked, "Is it true?" He didn't deny it. He whispered, "Yes." Not because he was guilty, but because he was tired of hiding. It wasn't betrayal. It was sacrifice. It was suffering. It was protecting someone from a truth that could break them. But secrets, even when born from love, hurt. He explained. Her father was falsely blamed for financial fraud. Kobe's investigation helped clear his name. But to protect Emily from pain, her father resigned quietly. He didn't want her to know. She cried not because of the truth, but because of all the years lost hiding it. She walked away from the altar. Not angry, not heartbroken. Just quiet. She sat under a willow tree near the lake. Wedding dress flowing around her like a cloud. Kobe approached. Slow. Fearful. Hopeful. He didn't speak. Emily wiped her tears and said, "I would have understood. I only needed the truth, not perfection." Silence. Then she placed her hand on his. "But weddings aren't proof of love, Kobe. Truth is." 6 months later. No crowd. No fairy lights. No rehearsals. Just them. And their parents. In the bookstore. Where everything began. Emily wore a cream dress. Kobe wore a linen shirt. They didn't exchange written vows. They spoke from the heart. "I don't choose perfection," she said. "I choose you." "I don't promise a flawless life," he said. "I promise honesty, even when it hurts." They exchanged rings. Without perfection. With truth. And that was enough. Marriage was not perfect. There were arguments, silent days, some tears. But there were also Sunday pancakes, late night walks, laughing at nothing, painting walls together, holding hands without needing words. They didn't chase perfect moments anymore. They embraced real ones. On their first anniversary, It rained. Emily stood in the doorway with a blue umbrella. Kobe smiled. She said, "It always rains when love has something to say." He kissed her forehead and whispered, "I didn't believe in fate until the rain brought you."